Welcome back to day 8 of our chess journey to 2000 ELO on chess.com. You might be able to notice something is slightly different today. Trimmed my beard, looking kind of different here. Yeah, that's a joke. Cut my hair as well. Well, let's just jump ahead into today's game, find an opponent, and see how we do. We're at 1533 ELO today, and we're playing Nike Devidas 68 from India. 1d4, what does our opponent play? We get a Queen's Gambit. Our opponent here is rated 1634, a high rating for sure. Let's go for this variation, inviting this. It's not played though. So now what do? We could go here. Or I think we could just go into this line, which I think is the main line, I think. Pretty sure it is. And let's come out. Feeling quite sure this is, well, okay. We haven't played this a whole lot up till this point, but it's not a bad move. Now let's come up here, keeping eyes on the pawn. I think we're following the main line still. Or the modern main line at least. Apparently we did transpose here into a neo-orthodox variation, which I'm unfamiliar with. Our opponent wants to trade off bishops. We don't have a lot to say in that regard. Let's just go. It seems slightly forced. Now we could go here. Or there might be this move even. But if we go up like this, there is this and this. I don't quite know what's happening there. It's either going to be this move here and maybe falling back, targeting the pawn, but then this and the pawns hold together, or we take here, probably inviting this, because if we have this, this, and this, well, that's just a pawn for us. So let's take, expecting this move, after which we will capture with the pawn. Now this is likely to happen. We're playing quite quickly here, I'm realizing. Our opponent is playing even quicker though, 16 minutes on the clock. We're in a pretty even position, although not entirely so. Let's come up here, I think. Applying pressure here if the bishop leaves, while also preventing this from coming with a check in some positions. I wanted to play this, but I didn't quite love what happened here, so this is why I opted for this approach. The cathedral outside here is just making some noise. Hopefully it's not too disturbing for you guys. I think we can push this pawn now and invite this kind of a position, because we've got this covered. This is a quick game thus far. Don't really love it when they go this quickly, but might not be all that bad either. Now this pawn is defended horizontally by the queen. Wanted to develop our bishop here if our opponent took. They didn't allow it, so well then. Do we try and induce this move? Might be an idea. Wouldn't want to come out here though, because I think there might be some annoying stuff down here if we trade the pawns and this is pushed and there is pressure. What happens here? The rook gets out, but then we can develop here with tempo maybe. The rook can't come here because of our knight. Maybe it could come here, but then we might even be able to grab the center in some positions. Yeah, honestly, let's take here actually. Don't necessarily hate it. this is likely to be played because this is an isolated pawn, which it's played. And honestly, I think this might be good for us because suddenly we have a long-term target. I'm realizing this might be an idea. It's not really much of an idea just yet because, oh no, we don't defend this pawn, or attack it rather, because of the queen, of course. Okay then, so there might be this move, but we're getting a bit too exposed here, I think, in regards to our king safety, so most likely we will be looking at something like this instead. Don't want to come out here, I don't think. Can't come here. This, we could go there, but then we don't really deal with whatever is going to happen here potentially. So let's come out here, defending this knight preemptively against this developing move, which is not played. Most likely, I think we would like to castle here. Is this a move? I don't think so. I don't see a follow-up threat there. We could see this maybe then, but I don't think that's all that bad. Let's castle before this comes with a check and gets annoying, I think. We can't come here now because of the knight, but that's not a big problem. Expecting this move, after which this is likely to happen. The bishop is undefended. Let's just push the bishop back a bit. This is a good move still, as we do not want to play g4, I don't think, as the bishop is still powerful there. This is unexpected, but honestly it's not all that bad because this pawn can't be pushed either way, so it's not as though we are under any pressure in regards to any discoveries by our opponent. Now then, where do we go? We have to move our rooks, I think. How do we go about doing so? Probably we want a rook here on this file. Do we want to come out this way to do it? Most likely yes, I think, because the C file is open, so we probably want a rook there as well. Which means for the time being we won't have a rook defending our A pawn. I think that's okay for now. We'll come out here. This could be played, but then the knight is a bit loose. It's defended by a rook though, which honestly it's not a big surprise. Now I think we might have the option of coming up this way. Although I don't think it's a first matter. Could come here as well, just activating our rook. This pawn is defended for the time being. Honestly, it would be nice if we got our bishop over this way on b3, where it could hold the pawn. We can't do so just yet though. So let's just get our last rook here into the game. Looking at knight to a5 here, but I don't perceive it as a threat. This, and most likely we would go here, I think. Hitting this, hitting this. So the queen repositions here. But now I think we have a tactic here rather, which is this. Or does it work? No, not quite, I don't think, because this, and this doesn't quite work, but maybe if we go like this first, that's actually a threat. And we do not necessarily need the bishop here anymore because this isn't a move now. And this is just going to kill off this luft for our opponent's king. So yeah, let's go here. I think it's a decent move. Now the bishop is defended. This is a threat, although I don't expect this to be how we win the game, if at all. But it could be an interesting trap, for sure. Now if the knight moves here, we could come in like this. I didn't consider this, to be honest, but I do still think we have... No, we don't, because there is this now. That's a really good tactic by our opponent, because we can't take... Because our opponent has this move. Really well played here by our opponent. Now then, how do we counter this tactic? We can't even take here because of the rook. Yeah, this was a good tactic. The problem here is I don't see a concrete follow-up, and we just end up quite a bit worse if we open up our king. Or do we? Let's have a quick look. This, and now we might have this move. Yeah, honestly, I think this might work, because now this seems threatening. This. We might get checked, maybe, but not in a way that could defend the knight here at least. And not even the rook here either, I don't think, because the queen can't get here, I don't think. So honestly, let's take here. I am pretty sure this and this works in our favor. Simply because of this repositioning here. Okay, so we won material, I think. Now we might be able to come here. As long as, of course, as there is no concrete way here for our opponent to win material. How can we get checked, for example? Our opponent can't quite check here. They could go to this square, but that's not a check. Let's say we go here and our opponent checks us like this. And then if we dodge, we could just end up moving all the way over here. I don't necessarily love leaving the rook here, as it's looking slightly exposed. But the thing here is I don't see a way of picking it up with a check. That's the important part. How does our opponent go about picking this up? We could even go here, which I think we might be a bit safer, as we're just threatening to win material like this, without the risk of our rook hanging on c7. Okay, let's go for this, I think. Our opponent might be trying here to check us a whole lot. Yes, we are checked. Not surprising. Let's slide on over. This is still hanging. Surprisingly here, there is not a single check apart from this, and if that's played, I think we would go here. The reason we would go there is to not allow access on the light squares for our opponent. This is probably a move, but honestly this might be a move as well. I'm not entirely sure. I think we're probably winning objectively here because we have a piece advantage, but it's slightly difficult to prove, I think. This, and I still think we can win this pawn if needs be. Our bishop here is doing a great job. This might even be a move. I don't quite love what happens there, so maybe we'll just be coming up this way, and there is no check along this diagonal, so our rook can't get picked up, I don't think. Importantly, this is defended as well by the queen and the bishop, so there is no tactic down here either. So yeah, let's come up here, threaten stuff. If we get two rooks down here, we could threaten the king as well. Because the queen went here, there isn't a single check, which honestly is quite surprising considering how open our king seems. But, well, that's just how it is at times. This pawn can only be defended, I think, by pushing it. But if it's pushed, this pawn falls. Okay, so what did I miss here then? Some kind of evil, nefarious intentions here. Might be. I think we can take this though. And we should be able to force this issue quickly, especially considering what's happening here. Oh, we have this move. Oh, never mind, we don't, because of this coordination here. So this doesn't work. But I think we can still take here, and this is essentially a free pawn. If this is played, we can go like this. Or well, if this is played, I think we go here even. Do we go like this, forcing material off the board? I think this is really good because this is a checkmate threat. We could have picked up this pawn as well, but I want material off the board to kind of ensure our win here, at least as much as possible. There might be better moves here, but I think this is pretty concrete. This would be checkmate if our opponent does not deal with the issue there. This, and there is this or this. This is played. I think we have a few options here. This. Probably a good idea just to trade off material here. This could be funny, because this and there is this, which is checkmate. I think we would just be taking the rooks off the board. This. And honestly, I think this is a good move. It looks bizarre, as it apparently just gives up the queen. Well, this is a move though. defending the rook. But then we might have this, which is a check. And we can get in with our last piece. And then I think our position looks really good. Could even get in like this. Let's come like this. It looks bizarre, but I think it looks like it probably maintains our advantage and pushes it as far as possible. Okay. Didn't quite consider this move. I think we can respond by playing this. And if takes, we go here, of course. And I'm pretty sure we have the better position. This, there is no check by our opponent. If this is played, this is checkmate even. So let's force the issue here. This is a bizarre position, but I really like those kind of tactical positions like this, where we seemingly hang a queen, but we don't. This was still possible, okay. But now I think we have this. And we can start bulldozing in here if we should want to. Our pawn here becomes a passed pawn. I think this looks good. So let's go for it. This is a check. Isn't really scary though. You come up here and I think we're good. We could go here and allow this check. We could even block it, I think, and we should not really be in a lot of trouble. This, I don't love what happens here, allowing further checks, so let's keep this pawn defended and also allow this. Or I guess prepare for potentially bringing the bishop back. But do we want to bring the bishop back? This, and there is this. How about coming here then? Should buy us one move. Our opponent is still above 15 minutes, which, as per usual, I have to say is kind of bizarre. Let's stay on the dark square, so there is no check. We'll go here. Most likely the queen will target this pawn now. But we have this, I think, which defends it. But not if this is played. A good move by our opponent. Should we come this way? If this is played, I think we're not in a good position anymore. We could go here maybe. But still, I don't think that's good. Do we come back and go here maybe instead? Because we don't want the queen on f3. Yeah, I think we'll do it. We'll have this, this, and this. We don't want this though, so we'll have to see where we go from there. I really hate when our king gets exposed like this. But if we get one piece off the board, I think we're probably in a decent spot. Well, we should still be in a decent spot, of course, but it's kind of difficult here calculating all of the queen maneuvers as it just runs around the board. This and this doesn't work, I don't think. Pretty sure we can just escape. there might still be some idea of coming up here. But if this is played, this becomes defended. Most likely, as I mentioned, this will be played, and I think there we might go to d2. As then this pawn is not attacked. But the queen could just come back here, which is a scene position. Do we go here then, allowing the pawn to fall? We do still have this pawn, which is a passed pawn. We could go here maybe and try and just escort this pawn up the board. That might be an option. Curious to see here what our opponent is calculating. It's a bit scary seeing this calculation happening, because we don't quite know what our opponent intends. Surprising they didn't just go back and try to go for a draw here. Would have suspected they would do so. Try to force the repetition. This is played. Wow. I don't think it does anything at all, because this is still a problem. How about we come here then? And now this, and the queen can't come here. We could push a4 as well, but I think this looks good. If we get this rook off the board, I think we should be in a good spot. This pawn here is a massive asset. We don't have pressure against this pawn now, but I don't think that's essential. There is this, as I mentioned. And our opponent took away their square here, which, as I mentioned, I don't quite see why they did so, but we can maybe wait and see if they had some concrete idea. This loses to checkmate. This might be played, but then I think we have this. Yeah, that's good. Forcing the king back, and then there is checkmate. I think we just have to take, right? There's no way taking can be bad here. We force the king out, and maybe if we get to pick up the queen here, we should just automatically win the game. This is forced. Now let's come here, get a bit closer. If this is played, this is checkmate. Do we go here maybe? Oh, no, I see. We go this way. This looks like checkmate. This, and this. Yeah, this seems to be it. I think we've got mate in one here. Our opponent resigns, and we get our win today. We'll go on ahead here and say thanks for the game to our opponent. We're on a roll here. Feels really good. Let's jump on ahead and have a look at the review. We played with 93.6 today. Our opponent played with 82.6, and I see we had a brilliancy, which I'm curious to see when it was. Only one inaccuracy today. That feels good. Quite optimistic here for the upcoming positions. 94% in the middle game and 100% accuracy in the opening. One inaccuracy, some good moves where we could have chosen better ones, but this is essentially as close as we get to a perfect game without the accuracy being really close to 100. This is all good stuff. This is pretty normal stuff. Just going quickly through the position here. I think we just follow the main line as I mentioned. And this was forced, didn't like this. Might have been playable as well, but then if this bishop takes our bishop, we give our opponent the bishop here, which is not quite my style. So we took like this, took here, which apparently was not the best move, but it's still a book move. So we did in fact we did follow theory here for a long time. We're at move 10 and it's still theory. If this was even theory, that's bizarre. This was, oh wow, that's really cool. I'm really happy to have found all the best moves up till move 13 even. But honestly, a lot of the moves did come by themselves, or wow. I didn't expect this to be best. I thought this capture here would be better, but apparently it's not. Yeah, I don't quite know why. This isolated pawn here, I guess it does kind of control some squares, but it becomes a target as well. We didn't quite get to pick it up, but our opponent had to kind of invest some pieces into defending it for the remainder of the game. Should have apparently went a bit further up, but 0.23 to 0.2, 0.03, that's essentially nothing. Up till this point, we've mostly had really good moves. Apparently this is not the move, should have went here. I don't quite see why. We're not really targeting anything, I don't think. But the differences are still negligible, rather, at this point. This was good. Now we could control this, which became quite essential. This was bad. But I think it's only bad because we had this, yeah. If we didn't, I think this here is horrendously bad. But if this was played, we just win the game. So I'm really glad here to have called our opponent's bluff here. It's not even a bluff, to be honest. At this point, I thought I'd blundered a pawn until I realized we did still have our tactic, which we set up on the previous move. So we lost a pawn here, came back, should have went here, which I did discuss. I was just a bit afraid. The difference is 0.2 though, not all that massive, so I don't mind having went for the safer option in that regard. Went up now. Really? Oh, that's a really cool move. Yeah, I guess I was blind in that regard, but honestly it's a bit too fancy for us normal breathing humans, non-cyborg humans. So we went here, our opponent went here, and this was all good. First off material, traded like this, and this was a brilliant move. A really fun move, as well it does look bizarre. I had considered this by our opponent, but they went here, which was a decent move as well. We went up, once again allowing our queen to get captured. It wasn't captured, and now we kind of just dominated this position. Shuffled the pieces for a second, went back here. And yeah, this I think is just what lost the game, because it gave us enough time to play this move, and once we got this in, our opponent not having h5 here is massive, absolutely massive. So, well, apparently there is a mate in 4 here. I don't think that's easy to spot at all. I guess it forces the king out this way, but oh, there is some kind of bizarre ladder mate here. I would have never seen this kind of a ladder mate. Let's play it out to show it. This, 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 this. Oh no, it's not a5, it's here. And then this. Yeah, that's a bit bizarre. Went for this instead. This actually was a mistake. Well, but our opponent went back. What's the best move here? Maybe going this way? No, never mind. There's this, and in some way here, for some reason, we just don't have checkmate. Or apparently we do, I guess, in 14 moves, but, well, not easy to spot. But anyways, I do still think we had a good position here. Forcing the king out was massive. This, and our opponent would have had to go here, after which this would have been checkmate. So we won our game today. A really nice game, I think, today. Feeling good about this win. So thanks to Nike Davidas 68 from India. As well, and also guys, thanks for watching to the end of the video. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your days, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.